An IM with 16 different tunings at less than $100. Hello and welcome to AfterSound Review, and this is my review from a new IM from a brand new company, and this is the Joyodio Shine. An IM that is using a single dynamic driver and two balanced armature with not one, not two, not three, but 4 switches that's giving you 16 different tunings. And thank you for Linsol for providing me with this review unit, and just like usual, I will break down this review from the build, fit, frequency response, sound, and comparison. Build quality wise, I do think that they're kind of unique. They're using mainly two different kind of material. You could see the difference here. This part, I think this is aluminum, while this part is resin. The faceplate is looking really nice. It's kind of bulky as an IM overall, and this part is mostly resin and it's a little bit translucent. You could see a bit under the light that there's tubing here. So yeah, it looks quite nice. But the unique thing is definitely about the switch here. You got 4 switches here that you can turn off and on. And the cable itself is using 2-pin connector QDC Type-C. And the cable quality, I do think that it's quite nice. It's really flexible. There's one thing I really don't understand. It's about their position in switch. You could see that this one is the left earpiece while this one is the right earpiece. You can see the number here are inverted. For the right side, the numbers are on the upper side of the switch, while the left side, the numbers are on the lower side of the switch. So it's a little bit confusing. So when I need to turn on the switch on the right side, I need to turn it down, while on the left piece, when I want to turn on switch number 1, I need to turn it up. So yeah, I know that's a little bit confusing. I have asked the Linsol and other reviewers. Apparently all get the same inverted placement of the switch. I don't know why they are doing that, but personally not really my favorite. It's just kind of weird and a little bit confusing for some. Before I tell you about the ergonomics, I need to note this, that they only give you one type of ear tips, that is the KZ star tips here, that for me doesn't really seal in my ear, maybe because of these strange stripes, and it's not really thick either. It's really kind of flimsy. So I'm using this Final Audio Type E that gives much better seal and much better performance for me. For me, the ergonomics are really good. Even though they are kind of bulky, you could see that they are a little bit thick here, but in terms of ergonomics, they fit my ears just fine, and I could wear them for hours without any complaints. Now, speaking about its tonality, it's kind of tricky because literally you get 16 different kind of tunings and combination that you want because of this switch. So rather than telling you one by one, I'm just gonna show you here what the switch change when you switch them on off. Well, the first switch is definitely for the bass. When you switch them on, it gets a little bit elevation in the bass area, and the second switch is for mid-range area, while the third switch is about the treble area. But the unique thing is the fourth switch. Well, you might not really see in the frequency response here because again, in my SquigLink, it's already been normalized. So let me show you this raw frequency response that shows when you turn on the fourth switch, suddenly there's a decibel jump. The volumes gets higher, but the bass gets really flat. So I don't know why that happens. It's almost like that's an impedance adapter there. But nevertheless, yeah, that's what these switches do. And just like the frequency response show, you can play with the switch yourself and just get a combination on this. For example, when you turn on the switch 1 and switch 3, you do get elevation a little bit more on the bass area and also the treble area. But that being said, the difference when you turn on switch especially number 2 and 3, is not a lot, but it is noticeable. The most different happen when you turn on switch number 4, whether it's regarding the switch number 1 or switch number 4. You could actually tune this IM to have a flat bass or give this IM kind of good elevation in the bass area, so makes this IM thumping and good enough for EDM. So it definitely depends on your style, depends on your needs, but I need to say the bass in this IM is quite good in terms of quality. You do get a fast kind of bass, it's tight, it's quite punchy, and it's deep, but maybe it's not, no matter what kind of switch that you try, it will not be for bass head. It does have enough kind of bass with good depth and good rumble. And yeah, you do get also a really flat bass here. Well, regarding the mid-range, doesn't matter whether you turn the switch on or off, especially the switch number 2 here, you always get a quite nice forward upper mid-range, so it's making this IM leaning towards female vocal more than the male vocal, but it's still balanced. For me, when you turn the switch off, it's more balanced rather than when you turn them on. When you turn them on, it's more leaning towards female vocals more again. It is thinner, but it's more forward. It gives you a sense of clarity because it's more forward, but for me, I do prefer my switch to be turned off. So regarding the treble or the switch number 3, for me, the difference when you turn them on or off is also minor. The difference is maybe around 2 decibel at max. It's not a lot, but it's noticeable when you turn one on and one off. But nevertheless, you always get this mid-treble elevation. You do always get, whether you turn them on or off, you always get this IM has elevation on the treble area that makes cymbal sounds forward, also violin on the upper notes, and also some percussion on the upper notes there. And it's nicely forward, but still smooth and have a nice air there. So it's actually a nice treble, but you don't, if you are not really like the treble area, you cannot do anything about it, because even when you turn them off, the treble is still forward. So as an overall for the tonal of this IM, you can change this IM from a neutral-ish bright kind of IM into a V-shaped kind of IM, but you cannot change them into a warm or dark kind of IM, because actually the switch number 2 and 3 doesn't do a lot here. They're only changed around 2 decibels at much, so they doesn't really change a lot of things. The most different happen when you turn off or turn on the switch number 4. That makes this IM has a really flat kind of bass. But nevertheless, I would say that the tuning of this IM is still quite good. But don't expect a really different 16 kind of tuning here. Just expect just like a fine tuning here and there, because like I said, the difference is only a bit, but it's noticeable. So don't expect a lot with this switch changes. The difference, the biggest difference is only about the bass. Now thankfully the actual technical of this IM is quite good. Well, at $80, one of my favorite IMs like the Hexa or the Aria or the Juno Titan S, I do feel that this IM lands around Juno Titan S and Aria kind of resolution. So it's not bad, but it's not the best either. For me, at 80 bucks, Hexa and also the EA500 has better resolution and imaging overall, but I will not say that this is bad. And you do feel this IM has better separation than the Juno Titan S or the Aria. You do get that kind of multi-driver sensation here, but in terms of impact, details, and also resolution, it's not at the same level with the EA500 for me. Now, how is it compared directly with the Juno Titan S? For me, the Juno Titan S is simply a more linear one. No matter what kind of switch you use here, the Juno Titan S will have better linearity and it sounds more natural and neutral also. but you cannot change the bass on the Junior Titan S to make it more engaging. While this IM, yes, you can actually. You can get that bass switch and make this IM more engaging. And the tone of the Junior Titan S, for me, it's more balanced somehow across the whole frequency. But nevertheless, I do find that this Joyodio Shine is maybe a little bit more all-rounded, especially when you want more treble or whether you want more bass rumble. Now, comparing them with the Truth Ear Hexa. Well, personally, Truth Ear Hexa is one of a good IM, but I personally don't like it because it's so well tuned. It's really balanced. It's almost neutral with just a little bit of soft bass boost. It's very balanced across the frequency, and it reach deep and reach high there, the frequency extension. But the problem for me, the Hexa compared to the Joyodio Shine, even the Hexa, even though it sounds more technical and also linear, it sounds drier and it's not as dynamic as this Joyodio Shine. The thing that I really don't like about Hexa is about its dynamics. It's not engaging. It can never be engaging. Whenever I tried a lot of music there, the Hexa can never be engaging, but the Joyodio Shine can give you that engaging sensation. But nevertheless, for me, the Hexa is the more neutral tuned one, but the Joyodio Shine give you, again, difference in tuning capabilities, and it's somehow also more engaging and more dynamics. Well, against the EA500, SIMGOT EA500 simply said no matter what kind of switch combination that I try with this Joyodio Shine, the SIMGOT EA500 for me is still an overall better IM, because from the beginning it also has better tunings in terms of tonal balance. Yes, it can be a little bit more forward in the upper mid-range, but as an overall, I do enjoy the SIMGOT EA500 tunings better than all of the combination of the Joyodio Shine. Also, the impact, dynamics, resolution, and imaging is simply better on the EA500, but you cannot turn the switch to a neutral level like the Joyodio Shine here. The EA500 will always have that bass elevation. So actually, I do like this Joyodio Shine. It gives you different kind of fine tunings. Again, the biggest difference from the tuning is mainly on the bass, while the mid-range and treble is just minor difference. And overall, even though you change the tunings here and there, it's always kind of good. It never goes bad. But for me, the problem lies with its competitors. For me, Hexa, Junior Titan S, and also SIMGOT EA500 has something special that cannot be replicated through all of the combination of this Joyodio Shine. So again, it really depends on what you like, because even when you try a lot of switches from this Joyodio Shine, it cannot replicate what the EA500, Hexa, or the Junior Titan S has. But you definitely do get that kind of flexibility in terms of tunings. So overall, it's a little bit hard to review because there are a lot of choices here and there, but I would say that it's a decent IM, and I could recommend this IM if you are interested in this kind of fine tuning using switches. So that's all I could say about this IM, and this is my final score for its tonal and also its technical. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this review. See you next time. Bye bye.